Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this bag here. Now this tutorial does not go over how to make these granny squares. I will put a link on the screen right now to where you can watch the video to make these granny squares. And you'll need 6 of them total. This video goes over how to sew them together, how to put the border on here, and how to sew it on to this type of bag set here. So remember, this is not the granny squares. There'll be a link below in the description box, and also it just popped up on the screen. Once you get those made, 6 of them, we'll go over how to add this border and sew it on. Now you don't have to use these granny squares. You can use any type of granny square that you want, but if you want these, check the link below in the description box to how to make those. I want to say a special thanks to Hobium for providing the supplies for me to be able to do this tutorial. So I'm using the Kartopu Love Cotton. It's a lightweight 3 yarn. There's 251 yards in a skein. It's really soft. It's nice. Now I got 4 different colors for mine. The black being the main one, but 1 skein of each color will be enough to do the bag. And I'll put a link below where you can check out this yarn. And also I'm using a bag kit also from Hobium. What it is it's real leather. You can see the bottom there. It's got the bottom pegs. There's the inside. And it's got the holes that you can sew your crochet to. So it's got the bottom part, and then the top part also has the holes with the attached handles. Like I said, it's real leather. It's really nice. Now they do sell these also on Hobium's website. I will put a link below to where you can go to Hobium, and they have other colors of these and a couple different types of these. They're really super cool and make your crochet really stand out. And yeah, don't forget the yarn too. They have all colors of this Love Cotton. So check the link below in the description box to where you can get this bag kit and the yarn for this project. And I'm also going to be using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. Okay, now when it comes to sewing your squares together, now you can sew them any way that you know how. You do not have to do it like me. Some people single crochet them together. Some people slip stitch them together. And some people use a yarn, needle, and yarn. I do it all different ways. Now, this time I'm going to use a yarn needle with some yarn. Now, what you want to do, you know, like you can do it any way you want, but if you want to do it like me, is you put them down like that, sew them together like that, so when I flip it over, the seam will be on the back and you won't see no seam in the front. So we're just going to sew all 6 of them in a straight line. So I got to do this last one here, and I'll show you what I do here. So remember, okay, we put 3 stitches in the corner of the square. I'm going to go through the front loop on this square of that middle stitch of 3. There's 3 stitches. The middle one, I'm going through the front loop. In the middle stitch of that group of 3 on this back piece, this other square, I'm going to go through the back loop on that one. And then I'm going to go through like that. Oh, don't pull through that fast. And save some tail there. Now I'm just going to kind of whip stitch it together. I'm going to go into the next stitch, the front loop only on this piece, and then the back loop only on the next piece. And I'm going to hide my tail as I go. Again, front loop only on the front piece, and back loop only on the back piece. I don't think I made my yarn long enough. It keeps coming off my hook. And that's how I'm going to sew them together. It's just real easy. But front loop only on this piece, back loop only on the next piece. But you can do it any way you want. If you find it easier to slip stitch or single crochet, by all means, you sew them together any way that's easiest for you. But I'm just going to do this all the way down. And once I get to the end, I'll hide my tail. And you just want to have all 6 of them sewn together. So when I see now, when I flip my piece out, it's going to look like that. It looks like this because it has these ridges, because I only went through 1 loop on each side. You can go through both loops if you want, and there won't be any ridges at all. It just really depends on what you like. That's just how I do mine, though. So get all 6 of them sewn together in a line just like this. Okay, I went all the way over to the middle stitch of the group of 3 again on this side. So we started in the corner, the middle stitch of those 3 in the corner, and we ended over here on the middle, in the middle stitch of the 3 in the corner. And then I hit my tails, and that's what it looks like. Now we're gonna, you got 6 of them sewed together. Now we're gonna sew them all together and make like a ring. So I'm just gonna put them together like this, and I'm just gonna sew it together the same way that I just did. Exactly the same way. Or however you sewed yours together. If you did it different than me, you just sew it up the way that you've been doing it. I go through the front loop here and the back loop there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this sewed up, and then we will flip it right side out, and then we'll start putting some edging around it and stuff. Okay, I got it sewed up, so I'm going to flip it right side out. So what we got is just kind of a big ring of grannies. So now we're going to take my black yarn, and I'm going to go around the top. Both the top that I'm getting ready to do and the bottom are both going to be worked the same. So you can start in any stitch that you want. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to start kind of right here and next to the seam. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go right back into that same stitch and single crochet. And I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around all these granny squares. Show you what to do when you get to the seam real quick. Let me go ahead and crochet over to 1. So I'm just working 1 single in every stitch. Now when you get to a seam, like right here, you can see the middle stitch here where we just went through that 1 loop. Go ahead and go through both loops of it now. Single crochet. And then you do the same thing on the other side. See, right here we only went through 1 loop. Go ahead and, I'm sorry it's dark, just go through both loops now this time. Just like that. And then just continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to your next seam, and that you just do the same thing. You'll be able to tell where the stitch was that you just went through 1 loop, so you just go through both loops of it on both sides of the seam. So you're making 1 stitch on each side of the seam. All we're doing now is just kind of cleaning up all these edges. So I'm coming to the seam again. My yarn is dark, but you can see right here is the loop I did not go into. and then right behind it is a loop I did go into. Just go through both of them and single crochet, and then you do the same thing on the other side of the seam. Go through that one that you went through one loop before, and then you just continue around. So I'm going to do that all the way around the top until I get back over here to my starting point. Alright, I have made it all the way around. What I'm going to do is aim at the slip stitch into my first single crochet. I'm not going to count my stitches. The amount of stitches you have here doesn't really matter that much, so it's not really that important. I'm going to change colors. I always tie off when I change colors. I'm going to go, and now I'm going to do a row of single crochet in my light blue. So I'm going to start right around the same spot. Chain one. And then I'm going to put single crochet into the same stitch. And now it's just one single crochet in every stitch all the way around. And that's what I'm going to do really, is just rows of single crochet now. When you get to the seam, there's nothing special that you have to do because you already single crocheted over it on the previous round. So just like this, one single in every stitch all the way around back to the beginning. Then I'm going to switch colors, and I'm going to do a row of my other color blue, one single crochet in every stitch all the way around. Then I'm going to switch colors, and I'm going to do a row of my purple, one single crochet in every stitch around. So I'm going to do one row of light blue, row of my dark blue, and a row of purple. So 3 more rows of single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Now you do yours in any color that you want, but that's what I'm going to do mine in. So I'm going to finish this one up, be 1, I'll finish this one, be 2, and then 3. And I'll meet back up with you when I get my 3rd row done here. Okay, I got one of each of my 3 colors, and now what I'm going to do is start my black again, and I'm going to do 3 rows of single crochet in my black color. I'm just going to chain 1, go back in the same stitch and single crochet, and then I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch. And I'm going to do that 3 times, so I'll have 3 rows of the black. So when I make it all around, I'm just going to go around 2 more times with the same black. So, counting the row that the very first black row is 1, and then we did 2, 3, 4, and then 3 more rows, 5, 6, 7 rows of single crochet all together. And then what you do is once you're done with that, you flip it and you do the same thing on the bottom, which I already have that finished. So I did my first row in black, that was 1, then I did 1 of each color, which is 2, 3, 4, and then I did 3 more rows of black, 5, 6, 7. So at the top, counting that very first row that we cleaned up the edges with, we'll have 7 rows of single crochet. And you just flip it and you do the same on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my 3 rows here, and you want to go ahead and finish yours up and then flip yours and do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll go ahead and get it sewed onto our purse kit. Okay, once you get your piece done, you want to lay it out in the way that you're going to have it on your, you're going to sew it to your bag kit. So I got 2 squares in front of me and then like half of ones on each side. So these will kind of be on the sides of the bag, and it'll be the same on the other side. Okay, so now to put this bag kit on, the best way I think I found to do it is to pin it in place with just some pins, and then we'll go through and we'll sew it with a regular yarn needle. So start with the bottom first. See if I can get a good angle at it. I'm just going to take it and pin it, probably start in the corner. Try not to, make sure you get your, pull it out here a bit so you can see. Get your corner where you want it to go. Remember, half of the square goes into the corner on each side. So half the square will be on this side, half of it on this side. And then you want to pin it. I'm pinning it to, going through one into the bottom row of single crochet that we did. And then come back up through. Stick it through the bottom row, single crochet, and come back up through the bottom row, and then come back up through one of these holes here, like that. And that'll kind of hold that in place. And I'm going to kind of do the other side of this corner here the same way. So I'm going to grab another pin. Make sure I got half of my square on here. Kind of just fit it into the corner, and then pin it down to that bottom row. So go through there. Now these pins are just temporary. They're just to hold it in place on that bottom row of single crochet, so it doesn't have to be perfect where the pin comes back out. Don't matter what hole it comes back out of. So now it's pinned there, kind of in the corner where you want it to be. Now I'm just going to kind of go around. I think I'm going to go pin the other corner up now, just to hold it in place. So remember, we want half of this square on one side and half on the other. So get it, line it up. This is probably the hardest part, I think, getting it pinned down right, so, you know, so it lays right. But half on one side, half on the other, the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but, and then pin it down to that bottom row, single crochet, without getting my fingers in there. And then I'm going to do the other side here, the other corner. Now, if you know an easier way, by all means you can do it. I just thought this would be really the easiest way to do it. It's just to kind of pin it, just to hold it in place, and then we could go along and sew it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put just a couple pins here along the front, just to hold it in place while we sew. More here. I'm not, I'm not spacing them out any certain way. I'm just holding it down so we can start sewing. And this is how we'll have to do the top too, whenever that comes time for that. There we go. Do the other side. A couple pins on this side. And then I think we'll be good to go. Just sew it up. Myself in the fingers. There we go. That's good enough. I just wanted to kind of hold it in place a little bit while I sewed it. Now I'm going to use the same yarn, black yarn, to sew it. Now if you want to use regular thread or embroidery thread, embroidery floss, any of those will work also. I almost use embroidery floss, but then I just decided I would just use this yarn. Since it's a lightweight 3, I think it'll be just fine going through them holes. But you want to cut off a pretty long piece because you're going around the whole thing. And you want to get a yarn needle that'll fit through them holes. Let's see what I got here. I got a mess of yarn needles here. All my yarn needles, well, part of them, they all stick to a magnet in my pins and stuff. Okay. I'm using one that's a blunt on the bottom. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, but now this will probably take a little bit of patience. I'm going to go in from the bottom. Okay, so going through that very last row of single crochet, or as close to that last row as you can get. It's going to be hard to see because you're go in there, and then I'm going to go up through a hole like that. Pull my yarn through. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail so I could sew it later. And now I'm going to go into the next hole, which has part of a pin in it. So I'll move part of that pin out. I'm just going to go right through it. Try to go down that same last row of single crochet. Oops. Pull it through like that. Now I'm going to go back up through the inside and up through the next hole, trying to go through that last row single crochet. And then back down this next hole. Oops. Sorry, I keep bumping my camera stand broke, and now it's just, I got a new one coming. I'm just waiting on it. This camera stand's cheap. The next one. And this is what I'm going to do the whole way around. Make sure you kind of pull them a little tight. Now I'm at my next. Go to move this out of the way. Remember, we're still trying to go through that last row just to try of single crochet, just trying to keep it even if we can. If you don't get it every time, it's okay. I think, remember, it's homemade. Nothing homemade is ever perfect, but it's always made with love. Then back through the next hole. And this is what I'm going to do the whole way around. I'm going to do the same for the top too. It is time consuming, like I said, but that's okay. Should look cool when we're done. Hoping so anyways. One stitch at a time. So I'm just going to continue doing this all the way around until I get back to my starting point. All the way around the corners, back over here to the others, to where we started. Just one stitch at a time, through and then back through, through and back through. Okay, once you make it all the way around, I'm going to go around again. So I'm just doubling up my layers here. As you can see, I'm just going to back through and then back through this hole. Like that. I'm going to do that all the way around. But I'm going to skip over this crease in the corner. I'm not going to cross it like that. I'm going to jump over here to this side. Go into that hole there. And then back into this one. And then back to this one. Trying to keep still going into that first row. Single crochet down there and then back down into this one. You probably get the idea. Like that. That way it's just all the way sewed up and there's no gaps in between it. But you can do it, leave the gaps if you want. It's however you like the looks of it. So I'm going to do this all the way around. Back to my starting point. Okay, I have made it all the way around mine twice, so all the holes are filled up. Now I'm going to just kind of hide my tail on the inside of my work here. You want to cut a couple knots in it. Weave it in. And then we'll do the top. Oh, sorry. I'll weave that in a little bit later. Better later. So we can get started on the top. And the top is pretty much done. It is done. It's done the same way. So, just lay it on here. And both sides of the top appear to be the same. So it doesn't really matter. Just set it on here and we'll start in the corners and pin them up first, just like we did down at the bottom. So make sure you get in the corner good. Half of this granny square on one side and half on the other. Put it up inside the corner good. Pin it to that bottom row. Single crochet if you can. And we're just going to do this all the way around, just like we did on the bottom. And we sew it together same way. So I'm going to pin mine all the way up, all the way around. Let me do my other corner too. I just think it's easier to do the corners first. Put your piece up in the corner good. Sometimes you gotta fiddle with it for a little bit, I guess. pin it up. Pin my finger while I'm at it again. Like that. So what I'm going to do is pin mine all the way across, and then I'm going to sew it the exact same way we sewed it down here. Okay, once you get it all sewed up, that's it. That's all there is to it. I just put this keychain on it for decoration. That's not anything you have to do. But yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you want to line it, you can. In there. I might line mine someday, but I'm not going to at the moment. But I think it turned out really nice. Remember not to forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There's that auto subscribe link in the description box that you can click on. Also, I'll put a link to my Facebook page where if you make this or anything else, you can post a picture of it. Everybody on there would really like to see it. And don't forget to check out all my other tutorials. I have hundreds of them. And also, again, don't forget to check out Hobium. I'll put a link there below where you can get this leather or in this yarn. And they got all kinds of other cool stuff. So check out their website too. And until next time, have a good day.